Hey, team. Welcome back to another episode of the Jenn Commandments podcast. I am your host, Jenn Wien. I'm an engineer currently working in Wisconsin. I grew up in the Chicagoland area and I went to college in Michigan. Hey, how y'all doing? It's been a fucking a minute since I talked to y'all. This is my first solo episode back after my trip to Malaysia. So, hey, how are y'all? Just to follow up, I hope you guys loved Lauren. Oh my god, favorite people in the whole world. I will probably have said that about a million people, anyone who probably comes on the podcast, but like just know that um the people who I hold really really close to me, like Lauren, they're all just as like kind and genuine and sweet as her. And so like I have just to, whatever. Um I've made such a distinct effort over the years to really keep people around me who are just so genuine and like so complex and have so many distinct interests and like passions in life. And I think that is just so that's something that I really admire about people. And like as I've like taken a step back and evaluated like who I want to come on the podcast and stuff, I just like have come to the realization of just how like beautiful everyone is. So I really hope that you enjoyed that as much as I did. I love Lauren. I cannot wait for her to come back so we can do like book club and discuss each one of the Hunger Games books. I am unfortunately, there are only 24 hours in the day, and reading is usually not on one of those top priorities unless I'm just like really in the mood. We've talked about it, like I um I get in stints where I'll read for like 5 days straight, where I'll read like two or three books in the stint of like, I don't know, maybe a week or two, and then I won't pick up a book for months. And so I think I just have like attention span issues, dude. Like I just can't focus. But we're working on it. I don't, you can't super tell, but like I'm in my like pool attire right after this. I am going to go lay out by the pool. In Wisconsin, it has been super hot the last 2 days. Yesterday was Pride for the Fox City or Fox Valley. I don't know what they called it. But it was Fox City Pride, I think. And like there was a singer, and then there was a drag show, and there was like booths that were like selling things. I got this homosexual hat. I got this little pan scrunchie. um Super cute, super fun. I haven't gone to like a pride event the summer after I graduated high school, so I was super happy to be there. Well, I've been to pride events, that's a lie, but like not like a city sanctioned event, like I haven't been to a pride since the summer after I graduated high school. So super fun, super exciting. Was happy to be there. So okay, we talked about that. There's a lot to fucking talk about today. And I didn't really write anything down. I just was like, there's so much to talk about. I'm just going to let it all spew. Um, so we talked about Lauren. We talked about Pride. We had a lot of fun. I don't know. I'm trying to get myself to be more comfortable with doing community stuff here. Um, I'm just I'm such a homebody at its core, but I know that those are like muscles. And so like even just like going out and laying by the pool, I've met like a couple people who live in my building, and it's them approaching me and me being like nervous and awkward, but like um I don't know. I'm trying to like get more acclimated to the I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be fine. It's just hard for me. It's hard for me to like put myself out there without like sanctioned events. Like I'm such a meet my people at like school and work and that sort of thing. So working remote has been sort of hard for me. But anyway, what's next? Okay, so we can talk about last time we talked one on one was Eternal Sunshine episodes. Hope you guys liked those too. Those were super personal for me. I'm glad that I like this is sort of like my journal, right? So I'm glad that I got to like get that shit off my chest and now I can just like move forward, and like yeah, that's all. Obviously I loved that movie. I love what it means to me. I love all of that shit. So very grateful. I didn't do the episode about Ari's album, but it's just like it's not there. I'm not every time I want to go try to record it. The last time I did an album review, it was just like not cohesive because I would like pause the podcast and then I would listen to the song and then I'd do a review. And like it was I need to find a better way to structure it and like in theory I could play the music because I don't make money from this. So I don't care about copyright. Um so like in theory it doesn't I don't know I just need to find a better way to do it. Okay, that's my washing machine. I was like, what is that noise? But okay. So I don't know. I just know that that album means so much to me. I don't know. Ariana is an artist that I come back to over and over for comfort. Um and like granted that could make me a little toxic cuz like I think she's a little toxic. I never said I was perfect. You know what I mean? So yeah. So before I went to Malaysia, I okay. I had like sort of I had finals week. That was sort of my hell week before I could like go on vacation. So I had to like make sure everything was sort of wrapped up at work, or at least they knew that I was going to be gone, and so whatever loose ends that weren't tied, like I had them set up to be figured out in my absence, right? Um and so that was cool. Whatever, I had to make sure podcast episodes were going to come out. I'm dedicated to this shit. I feel really good about the direction of the podcast. Like I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun with all of the creative endeavors that I've been up to, whether that be activism, not that that's a creative endeavor, but like passion projects. I've been really dedicated to my passion projects this year. And so I wanted to make sure that all of those loose ends were tied up. So it was just like sort of a busy week. And so then on Friday night, I was like panic packing. I had most of my stuff for Malaysia packed, but I knew I knew my suitcase was going to be overweight, but I was dedicated, even though I had two carry on or two like check bags for free. I was dedicated to only bringing one checked bag because I was like, two is excessive, right? The one check bag that I did have was huge, okay, and it was overweight. But I had like gifts. I had like traditional Indian garb in there that was like very heavy. Like, I don't know. I knew what the damage was gonna be, right? And so I had just sort of accepted my fate, right? But I had to repack, make sure it was all in. Everything made sense, whether it was like in a checked bag, whether it was on my carry on, because then bestie was like, girl, you should make sure that like your langhas and your saris are on your carry-on because our wedding events are like basically as soon as we get there. So just in case your baggage does get lost, like make sure you have the shit that you need to wear. And I was like, damn, good fucking idea. So I like I had to figure some shit out on my end, right? And then I had to hold like a different set of stuff for I was going to Iowa to visit Lauren and drop off Dante, and she was also going to do a triathlon while I was there. Like I very much wanted to be there to support her. I just wanted to reiterate. But so I was packing for that. I wanted to make sure Dante had all of his shit. Like I don't know. I wait until the last minute to do all that shit and then, like panic well as I'm doing it. It always gets done. That's why I always do it that way. But I do leave myself like exhausted and like a little bit crabby always on the day of travel because I stress myself out the night before packing. So maybe something I should work on in the future, especially as somebody who travels a lot, but we'll see if I actually get there. So then on Saturday morning, I get up like relatively early, clean the apartment because I also left that to the last minute. Like I woke up early just to make sure that like my apartment was cleaned up, and like all good, especially because like I was gonna be gone for a week and a half. I don't know, like maybe people could come in, like I don't know, whatever. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was cleaned up, and whatever. So that got done. Dante and I then skedaddled on to Iowa to Cedar Rapids. And we had so much fun. Dante, like Lauren and I are very similar, like I don't know, vibe wise. And so Dante's very, very comfortable. I could tell like even when she came back here, Dante was very comfortable around her. And so I'm sort of picky. I'm sort of like a helicopter mom, and so there are like few people. It's all my inner circle. I'd be very comfortable to like leave Dante with, but I was very happy that Lauren agreed to watch him. And so Saturday, we. Me and Lauren's family got there, so we got to have like a fun family weekend, which was really cool. I I love spending time with people's family. I spent a lot of time with other people's families growing up, and so that's something that is like where I feel or I've always gotten the most sense of like being a part of a family is through other people's families. And so I don't know. It's cool. Like it was fun to hang out with them. And I very grateful. We had lots of fun. I'm pretty sure we like Lauren's boyfriend like made dinner, and then I don't know, we just like enjoyed each other's company. I think I forget what else we did, but uh, we had fun. And then Sunday was the day of the triathlon, so that's what we did. And we had so much fun doing that. That was so fun to watch. And like you could they was going through trials and tribulations, you know what I mean? Like how cool is that? Not cool, but like that's a hard fucking task. Like that is one of the harder tasks that you've probably done. I mean, some of them do them all the time, so like, but I don't know, for some people like that's one of the hardest things that they've ever tried to do, and like you get to be there and experience it with them. I think that's really cool. So I had a lot of fun doing that. And yeah, then I left. So afterwards, it was like a chill night. Obviously, Lauren was fucking exhausted. And so we were like resting most of the day and just like sort of again enjoying each other's company. And like that's when I was younger and like my grandparents were still alive, when we would go up north to like go visit family, that's how it was, like the event was just sort of that everyone was there and like you guys didn't really do anything, you just like sat around and like hung out. And that's what I think of when I think of family. And so I don't know, it was really fun to be a part of another family unit that like that's how it is, and I'm sure that's normal for like most family units, but to be a part of somebody else's is, you know, very cool and fun and whatever. So um super fun. And then I started to get a little bit of anxiety around 7 p.m. because I was like, oh fuck, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow I start my journey, you know, because like the flights are the journey, but like I also had to drive from Iowa to O'Hare, and then from there you have to like, you know, I don't know. It's just like it's a lot. Bestie texted me. I was like, hey, make sure you fill out this like form for when we enter Malaysia. Like their government just wants like a form of who's in and out, whatever, right? So I was like TTT, okay. And at the time, like I suck, dude. I realize that I'm pretty like type B. I'm like shit'll work out. Like I'll figure it out. And like I do a lot of like prep, like the initial prep work. Like I can look up like hotels, I can look up flights. I'm like very good at like the transportation, staying, that sort of shit. Like I'm because I've traveled a lot domestically, I'm good with any sort of thing that you have to worry about when you're traveling domestically. Like however, because I haven't traveled internationally a ton, and the only time that I have traveled internationally has been for like sanctioned, not sanctioned things, but like it was study abroad, and then I went to like my best friend's wedding, and like his family arranged basically everything for me. Like I basically just had to show up, and then like my family and friends took care of me for the next 2 weeks, you know? So that like I have never really traveled internationally yet where I need to plan things. And so luckily I had a bestie there to help. And so she was like, you just have to fill out this thing. We don't, obviously you didn't need like visas or anything. Which may be like rare, not rare, but like the US passport, because of I listen, I wanted to talk about this earlier in the episode, but um I want to talk about, and we'll talk about it like chronologically as I talk about my trip to Malaysia, because like largely my trip to Malaysia was very very cool. Um and it was a life-changing trip, obviously. However, like every time I looked at my phone, I would see just like the atrocities that were happening at home. Um and obviously it's hard to focus on both things at once. So like obviously the United States political climate was like on the back burner while I was on my trip, but it was certainly still on a burner, you know. It was still in the back of my mind. And when I had downtime, obviously I was acutely aware of ICE raids, and then the subsequent protests that have been happening, not just in LA, but widespread throughout the country. I was traveling, and I'm pretty sure No Kings was the day that Lauren and I were doing the podcast, and so I did not go to that protest. I want to do a whole episode about one, who ICE is, how they came to be. They were created post 9/11, as sort of, this is a biased opinion. It seems like it's sort of like a scare tactic, and like sort of under the guise of racism, of like we have to make sure that there are no more, like, in theory, yes, we have to make sure there are no terrorists coming into the country, blah 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 blah. However, what they are doing right now is none of that. They are like taking harmless people from their communities, and like even if they look a certain way, which is just like not white, question mark, they can be like taken without due process to Salvador. So like um in theory, the guise that ICE was created under, in theory, sounds good, right? But the reality of what ICE is a terrorist organization who are like tearing people from communities. And so we'll do a whole episode on it. In the meantime, um so like I've started the prep work for it. I've just gotten my shit from Wikipedia so far though. But I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about Iran at some point. Um and like just sort of how it came to be that like now we are a part of the war. Cuz that happened as of last night, I'm pretty sure. I'm recording on Sunday. I don't have the date in front of me, but I'm recording on the Sunday before this comes out. So, um I don't know. Times are just like a little bit fucking crazy, and I want to do like an educational episode about it, but I need to educate myself first, obviously, um so that I can give like a poised summary. But just know that like America's on fuck shit, and like we always have been on fuck shit, and this is no shock. Like we knew that whatever Israel wanted us to do, that we would do, because that's been our biggest allies. So we'll do a little research together. We'll figure some shit out. And then I want my like I don't know, my stance to be abundantly clear that like I'm anti-war, and like any I have to go through like extensive therapy to make sure that I don't act crazy at work for my like low level implementation engineering role, right? And like it's not that dramatic, but like kinda, right? And so I don't think it's crazy to expect like a world leader and multiple world leaders to be able to come up with some sort of compromise without bombing whole places. And I don't know, I just think that those aren't crazy expectations. And it's absolutely disgraceful that we can't have them for world leaders. But hey, that's just me. So what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about, like immigration, going like we didn't need a visa and like the US passport, whatever, whatever. So that's what we were talking about. So, whatever. I was starting to get a little anxious. But I slept really good the night before, which was unique. The night before I left for China, I didn't sleep at all. I was so nervous. Um and so I slept pretty good. I like got up early, showered, did my little everything shower in like Lauren's bathroom, which is like obviously that's I hate that sort of shit. Like I want to be in the comfort of either my own space or like I don't want to like take up my friend's space. I don't know, that's something that I'm working on, of like taking up people's time, people being like inconvenienced by me that love me. That's what love is, or whatever. So um yeah, so I got up early, got myself around, and then Lauren made us banana pancakes. They were so good. They were so good. Holy shit, make some banana pancakes, dog. They were excellent. And then yeah, then I embarked on my journey to O'Hare Airport. Honestly, the drive through Iowa, like Iowa itself is sort of boring. And I didn't get to drive through northeast Wisconsin because I was driving to O'Hare, but like the drive from my place to Lauren's place is beautiful. Wisconsin is a beautiful state. If you didn't know, like the east or no, the west side of the state. My apologies. I meant northwest before. Um, the western part of Wisconsin is like not mountainous, but there's some cool rolling hills, you know. So, um, get into that. Get into that if you're ever looking for some place to go vacation. Like Eau Claire's pretty, Lacrosse is pretty. Like get into that. Dubuque is beautiful. Me and the girls are planning a trip to Dubuque in the fall, so I'm super excited for that. So yeah, then I was trying to roll up to O'Hare, and by the time I get to O'Hare, I'm fucking tired because I just did a 4 hour drive. But then because I be parking in okay, so let's get into some O'Hare fucking tips and tricks real quick. Because O'Hare is a big airport. I know that it's an airport that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Um, so let's get into how I navigate O'Hare. Okay. So I always park in either lot G or H, which is the long term parking, and it's the economy parking. Now, it is still expensive. For my trip, I got to O'Hare on June 3rd, I believe, and then I got back on the 14th. I want to say it was the 14th. I don't know. So maybe 11 days. It was $160, which for valet parking in the city at a hotel, it's like $50 a night. So I don't know. I feel pretty okay about my $160 spent. Because then here's what you got to do though. So from those parking lots, you have to take a bus to the um the rental car facility. So at O'Hare, they have like a whole building dedicated to renting your vehicles that you have to take like a uh the the monorail to. So that is where the bus that you take from the parking lots. So listen, bitch. Your planes, trains, and automobile into the fucking plane. But listen, you're gonna get there. Okay. So that's where the kiss and fly is too. So another O'Hare tip and trick. If you're getting picked up from O'Hare Airport, have them go to the kiss and fly. And then when you land at O'Hare, you take the monorail, the little train that's a part of O'Hare, you take that shit to the like rental car spot, okay? And that's where the kiss and fly is. And like you can park there without getting your ass screamed at, okay? Um anyway, so we're okay. So have you been listening up to this point? So currently we are from the parking lot to the rental car stop on the monorail. Okay. We got there by a bus. Okay. Remember what lot you're in too, because there are different buses for the different lots. Okay. Um, then you're going to take that monorail to your terminal. And they have on the monorail, they have what terminal for different airlines. So they like have like United Domestic, they have like all the different airlines and what terminals they're under on the monorail. So if you don't know, you should know. If you're at the airport and you're on step 2 of your fucking planes, trains, and automobiles, you should know at what point what terminal you're in. But if you don't, they have it. Okay. And then from there, you check in. Okay. So that's how I navigate parking at O'Hare. Because like don't inconvenience your friends by asking for a ride. If you're over 25, stop inconveniencing your friends for rides to the airport. Because like, I don't know, grow up. Find cheaper parking, do something, but like don't ask your friends. That's like a that's for our younger 20s, you know what I mean? Like if you live close to the airport and it's not really an inconvenience for you, maybe, but like especially O'Hare, love your friends more than that, you know what I mean? um so that's how I navigate the shit. And My shit was overweight, so I paid the extra $200. $200 for an overweight bag. To be fair, I was going all the way to Malaysia. Shipping it would have been just as expensive. So it is what it is. Those were, I expected like at least one big expense like that, because like I just don't plan like that. Like I don't know. I'm this is something that I need to get over a little bit because it causes me a lot of money. But I'm like so for convenience over having to worry about shit like that. And and I don't really have the money to be saying and doing shit like that. But like I made it up on the way back. I made sure, or I knew that I would figure it out on the way back, so I wouldn't have to pay for it twice. But at that point, like you're at the airport and like I didn't it was 17 pounds overweight too. Like it wasn't like a couple pounds. I didn't have 17 pounds worth of shit that I was willing to put into my carry-on. That's that's the short and sweet of it. Like I was like, fuck you, I'm not carrying that through the airport. Y'all can just figure it out. Like I don't know, dude. It was just not, it wasn't in the cards for me, you know? Um my flights were fine. I'm more antsy on a 5-hour flight than I am on a 15-hour flight, because like when I go on a long flight, like here's the flight pattern that I did. I went from Chicago to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco to Singapore, and then from Singapore to um, KL, Malaysia. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It was fun. I really the dude, my flight from San Francisco to Malaysia is 16 and a half hours. And that's fucking crazy. Um like I said, the 5-hour one I'm more antsy on. I'm like, get me off this fucking plane. Where like for the San Francisco to Singapore flight, I don't know, around hour 12 I was like, okay, I'm getting sick of this. Cuz I had like slept, I had like journaled, I had watched a movie. I was like, what else can I fucking do? Like, I was like, come on. But it got figured out. They give you two meals, and like the United meal I had, they were all United flights, and like I regret booking United because all the besties who took flights to this wedding were saying their food was banging and mine was terrible. My United food was fucking terrible on my international flight. um, so that was disappointing, but that's neither here nor there. That's like just like whatever. Um, as soon as I got there, I got picked up by my little brothers. Tarsha's already doing like ceremonial things, and so yeah, his little brothers came and picked us up. But I like, something I really really appreciated about the trip was like we really got like acclimated into their family because we stayed with them, me and Bestie. We stayed in our littlest brother's room. He got kicked out, and I don't know, we got to like really see what it was like to be a part of their family, and then got to see like just how supported and loved that they are, and just how important community is widespread throughout. I don't know if I can like speak for Malaysia as a whole, but just like how community culture is so vastly different there. And it was really inspiring, honestly. It gave me like a very it gave me more ammunition and more like fuel to move forward with activism, move forward with move forward with just like all of the things that I think that I do that harbor community and like make people feel seen and cared for. I think, I don't know, that's just like where I see myself heading in the future. And this trip just gave me a lot of like inspiration for that. I don't know. I've just been like babbling into the mic, but I don't know. Brothers came and picked us up, and then we immediately like headed. It was morning time, so my our flight got in. Bestie's got in a little bit before mine, and then mine got in. I think we were back at their place by like noon. Um, and we were greeted by all of the boys who went to college with us. So like me and Bestie, we have like a huge community of people in Malaysia because we were pretty close with the group of like international students from Malaysia at Western. And so that was like a really fun reunion too, of like seeing all the people that I like, I don't know, just partied with, I guess, but they were people who I saw weekend after weekend, and like I knew them, that wasn't the only time I saw them was when I partied, but like I don't know. It was nice to see them. It was nice to see where we all are, even though it's sad because many of them got like kicked out of our country, and so hearing all of their stories about their dealings with immigration and dealings with like Trump's policies and basically how they like I have a friend who like basically was just like after he graduated they were like, okay, and now you need to leave and you don't know when you'll be able to come back, and he had a job and everything. Like it's just very disappointing. Hearing their stories firsthand is very disappointing, but just like it's disappointing in general, even if I didn't know them, like what the fuck is going on? And like these are well educated, like, and even if they weren't, it doesn't matter if they weren't, but like these students were, or like people are well educated and like we're doing well and like very well acclimated into American society. Like there's no reason for them not to be allowed to be here, it's just very disappointing if they want to be, it's a lot. So anywho, we all got greeted by them, which was very kind, very sweet. They stayed like basically just to say hi because they got up early. There was so in Indian culture, so we went to Malaysia, but Tarshwin is Indian. So it was a traditional Indian wedding that we attended, and there's a lot of ritualistic things that need to happen, like the week prior, and then up to like a week after the actual ceremony itself as well. And so, um, the morning that we got there had been a ceremony at like 7 a.m. because they like check with like birth charts and that sort of thing to see when the best time is to do this specific ceremony. And Tarshwin's ideal time was like in 7 in the morning. So the boys had gotten up early to be there. And they were just like basically waiting around, which was very kind, very sweet. Um, so we did that, and then we like had to go to get our not saris, yeah, our saris tailored, or like our blouses for our saris tailored. um so we did that sort of right away, and then we had an event that evening as well. So like basically as soon as we got off the plane it was like go go go. Which was like we knew that that's the way it was going to be. Like unfortunately, like this was the earliest both of us could get there, so we got dressed up, and then the ritual for that evening was like more groom focused. So before the ceremonies it seems like both sides of the family do their own ceremonies and rituals in their own homes, like individually, and like the bride and groom cannot see each other then until the ceremony. um and then also you're like not allowed to eat meat in the home that week as well. So there are just like things that happen, which was just really fun to be a part of and like witness and see and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that was done. What else can I talk to y'all about? And yeah, Had to deal with some like home activism stuff. First thing when I got to the trip, I don't know if it's anything that is that big of a deal yet. But I will let you know if it is. That's all I can say about it right now. But we'll see. But I was told really not to worry about it until I have to worry about it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Um, but we'll see. Um, what else? The ceremony itself was something out of a movie. It was the most beautiful wedding ceremony I've ever seen and probably will ever see. Granted, I haven't been to a lot of weddings and stuff, but like, I don't know, even it was up there for me with like the Twilight wedding, and I think that's like the most beautiful wedding I've ever seen. So I don't know. It was crazy. Very grateful that I got to be there and a part. I don't know. It was beautiful. It was great. I'm really grateful that we got to go. And then afterwards, we decided that one of the boys who was there from our college, he was going home like that next morning, like going back to the US. And so we were like, fuck, well, we need to go out. Like, that's what we all did together. So we are like, okay, okay. So we found like this rooftop bar that was across from the KL Towers. And the KL Towers are like one of Malaysia's things. Malaysia also is like the home of the second largest building in the world, and then they also have like the biggest hotel by rooms that I went to. What was I talking about? Oh, KL Towers. We went to the club. But we knew we weren't going to have time, like, because where we were staying is like in a suburb of KL. um and so we were like, we know that if we go back to the house and like come back, it's going to be too late to go to the club. And so we went to the club in our saris, which is like fucking crazy. And so, yeah, super fun. We had fun though. Like it didn't. Since we are all in it together, like it was fine, and we had a lot. We had so much fun. That was one of my favorite nights of the trip. Obviously, we had so much fun, and then like homeboy literally left for the plane from the club. Hey, that's fucking crazy. I would throw up. I've just being in the airport hungover is enough for me to like not want to be here. Like I would be drunk talking to immigration. It just like wouldn't. That's just not. I just couldn't do it. I don't think. But yeah, we had lots of fun. We were very well taken care of. And I felt so incredibly safe. I think that I realized on the trip how frequently I just like always have my guard up because I'm not around people very often who I trust completely. And like when I'm around my besties, I trust them completely and I feel safe around them. But like I I don't know, unless I'm around a few of them, I don't feel like I'm ever in a space where I like don't need to. I guess that's what being an adult is like just not having the need to feel guarded all the time. And maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's a traumatized version, but like I don't know. I was just in a space where like I was out until 4:30 in the morning and like uncle was up just to make sure that, we got in safe. Like I was around family who like give a fuck about me and stuff. And like yeah, yeah. And like around a lot of people who give a fuck around about me. So it was nice. It's nice to like have those reminders. And yeah, it was a very life-changing trip. The only other thing I really want to talk about the trip is I got to have like a little, I wouldn't even say fling, but like a good example of what romantic intimacy can look like. Um and like I'm not delusional for thinking it doesn't exist. I'm not like or not I'm not delusional for thinking that it can exist, I guess, is the actual what I actually meant. Of like there's this man that's in that group who like we went to college together and like largely like Tarsh and I are we're school friends, but we're also part like Tarsh and I are all friend like we're all encompassing friends, but like Tarsh's party friends, I'm just party friends with largely. Like they're starting to grow into real friends because I've seen them so consistently over the last couple of years, but like it takes me a really long time to open up like open up to people. And so I think along with that, there's this boy who like found himself to be a little interested and has expressed it a couple of times. And like I've just never been in a space where I can like receive that, you know? Like I said a couple episodes ago, like I largely just spent like the last 2 years absolutely terrified of men. And like I knew that he was excited that I was coming. And I knew that I had told myself that like more than anything, I'm like, I don't want like a couple of men to like ruin my opportunity for like a happy life, you know? So I was like, okay, bitch, you need to like you need to at least try, you know, like and I was like, this person is like a safe person that you can try romantic intimacy with. Like I promise, you know. And I knew that. And I did. And it was like a very good reminder that like everything that I want exists. Like it sucks cuz like we had like a really great time and we agreed on a lot of things and like we had like because we knew each other already, we were allowed and able to be very like honest with one another about things because we knew each other and sort of how like we operate already. um and so it was just nice to experience one somebody is going to like if I make it clear that I don't want to have to think about anything, I don't want to have to be the one that like fucking plans every and anything, like that I want somebody to show up with intention as it relates to me, like quite frankly, and not to be like a cocky piece of shit, if you don't see the way that I interact with the world and you don't want to like give me the world, then I don't know what we're doing here. You know, like and that like because that's what I'm can provide, you know? So anyway, I like basically after Bestie cuz Bestie had to leave before I did. Tarsh was super busy with work or not work, but like not that his wedding was work, but like he had wedding shit to do, you know? And so I knew that after Bestie left, like I was going to sort of be left to my own devices to figure things out. And this man, like, I didn't have to make a single plan. Like, even the plans that I did make that like sort of fucked up and like in theory he was not responsible for at all. He figured out everything for me. He like I didn't have to like do anything. I just sat in the car. He put things in his GPS and I just like got to sightsee, you know? And like I tested him a few times. Like I got a place to stay for a night downtown and I offered him to stay with me, but there was a pull-out couch and I made him sleep on it. Like there are lines that I've historically crossed because I thought I had to in order to make a man like me. And um I don't know, this was the first time that I've juggled with like, you know, respecting myself and having boundaries and I think it went pretty good. And like I'm sad, like as much as I'm sad that like it all had to come to an end and like now I'm back here and whatever. More than anything, like I'm very happy to have just had the fucking good experience, like men are terrible. And like I'm literally trying to train my brain. It's such bullshit. So yeah, I don't know. I think we're done. Like my trip was life changing and like I'll keep most of it, like the rest of it to myself probably, but like I just got to reiterate how um or like reinforce to myself how important community is to me. And like I guess I realized like how much like maybe I do want a family. But like more than anything I want a community. And like I guess those are the same thing. I think that we often confuse them as the same thing, and that's why people rush into creating families when really they just want a community. Anyway, I guess I'll leave you pandering on that. Pandering, pondering. All right, I'm done for real. Okay, I love y'all. Bye.